The Karate Kid has returned. Is it any good? Let's talk about it.
I'm doing this for all of us. Whatever it takes.
Alright, that was just a short clip from Karate Kid Legends, which I'm going to be reviewing today, and it's actually been 15 years since we had a Karate Kid movie hit theaters. And before I get too far into this review, I will let you know that I might be a little easy and forgiving on this entry, considering the Karate Kid and Cobra Kai franchise is something that I love a lot, and one that me and my mom watched together. We even saw this one together, but even without that nostalgia factoring in, I will say I enjoyed this one much more than I thought it would, considering the trailers really did nothing to excite me, and even without its issues, which I'll talk about soon, this franchise continues to be consistent in putting out fun movies and shows that everyone at all ages can watch and enjoy. As I mentioned before, the last Karate Kid movie that hit theaters was back in 2010 with Jackie Chan and Jane Smith, which I thoroughly enjoyed. I know it gets a lot of hate, but I really liked it. Then the franchise took a break for a bit, and then it got to become a series that was a YouTube Red original back in 2010, bringing back fan favorites Ralph Macchio, William Zabka. This was a massive success. It eventually got bought by Netflix. Then it became one of their biggest shows of all time, finishing with 6 seasons just this year. So now after getting all those momentum, we have Karate Kid Legends that comes to theaters that blends these two together, as it follows Li Fong, who relocates to New York City, and when he joins a karate competition, he must seek help from Mr. Han and Daniel LaRusso. You're probably wondering, do you need to watch all the Karate Kid movies and the Cobra Kai seasons to understand this? I would say no to that. This is a pretty contained story with only a few Easter eggs for the bigger fans of this franchise. Some might be angry that the story is basically a rinse and repeat of what we've seen before, like this new kid come to this town, gets bullied, then he learns karate to beat this other kid. But I didn't really have a problem with this, considering, as I said before, it's fun and entertaining, but without spoiling anything, there are some small and nice changes that do happen within the movie. My biggest problem with this movie, and I feel like it'll be similar to a lot of other people's problems, is that it's just not long enough. Legends is only an hour and 35 minutes, probably like only an hour and 25 minutes without credits, and that makes it the shortest movie in the franchise. To compare it with the other original entries, the original one from 1984 was 2 hours and 6 minutes, and the Jackie Chan one from 2010 was a lengthy 2 hours and 20 minutes long. So you're looking at a new movie that's almost 30 minutes shorter than the original Karate Kid from 1984, and I just feel like almost none of their relationships had time to be developed in a way to make us care, and this mostly applies to the villain, as he's probably the most forgettable part of this movie. It just moves at such a breakneck pace that I wasn't really vibing with it, and the arc of watching our main character train and get better just didn't feel as rewarding as it did in the previous movies. Ralph Macchio also sadly felt like a last minute addition, as he doesn't really show up until like an hour into the movie. With all that said, I still really enjoyed this movie and probably will go see it again. Probably will, of course, buy the physical version to, have in my collection. But I really enjoyed Ben Wong here as our main character, Li Fong, because he is really easy to root for. He's super charismatic and has some great line deliveries, making him a really funny character. I feel like he's going to be a big star in the next 5 years. And his next role is even in the new Hunger Games movie, so I'm super excited to see where he goes with his career. Ming-Na Wen also plays his mom here, and even though I love her from Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., they didn't give her much to do here, and that's probably because of the limited runtime. Some of my other favorite cast members were Joshua Jackson and Sadie Stanley's characters, who own a pizza shop across where Li Fong lives in New York. There's some great moments between the three of these characters, and of course, there's a romance that has bloomed, and that was one of my favorite parts about this movie because it all happened in the first half. And I will say that first half is much stronger than the second half because the first half knows how to build a relationship, has some great moments, great character moments, but that second half is where it starts to move way too fast. Another small complaint for me was that the karate tournament wasn't really a karate tournament that I was thinking it was going to be. This one was just too modern for me, as it just felt like a neighborhood thing with not a lot of people watching. It didn't really feel like a big event. Back in the original ones, it's a huge event with a huge crowd with people from like all over the place, all over the world. And this one just felt sort of silly to me, and I would have wanted just a real styled tournament similar to what we had in the other movies, as it adds such a big emotional moment and element to these characters. I'd actually really want a sequel to this with Ben Wong returning, everyone else in the cast returning, and the person who shows up in the post-credit scene returning, because I feel like that second movie could be so much better. I mean, just add like 30 more minutes to that second movie, make it straight up 2 hours with, better character moments, a slower pace, and even hell, bring back Jaden Smith as a villain. I feel like that would be really sick. So overall, Karate Kid Legends is another fun and entertaining entry into this big franchise. It's not perfect though, as it's just way too rushed and has no time to breathe at all, which makes the villain seem anticlimactic and the overall second half meaningless because there's no big emotional journey happening here. Ben Wong as Li Fong really redeems this movie as he just seems built for this role, and his chemistry with his co-stars and Sadie Stanley in particular was fantastic. Jackie Chan and Ralph Macchio seemed like last minute additions, which was disappointing, but they still have some fun moments and there is a nice post-credit scene. I enjoyed Karate Kid Legends and I plan to watch it again, so I'm going to give it a 7.5 out of 10. Hope you guys did enjoy my review of Karate Kid Legends. If you did, make sure to smash that like button as it is free to do so and it helps me a lot. If you also saw this movie, leave your own thoughts down in the comments. I'd love to discuss it with you, but I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace out.